Welcome to the Shake Up Podcast. I'm your host and co-founder of Mr. Consistent, Jared Bell. This is a podcast where we invite friends of the brand into our studio. We get to know their story a little bit better. We chat all things business, culture and marketing, all while shaking up a few cocktails. On this week's episode, we have Dimity Stoyle, aka the Shimmy Disco, to give us a little inside scoop on what it looks like to be a pro surfer, a DJ, and now WSL commentator. I've known Dimity since she was about 14, so it was really inspiring to listen to her story of how she got to where she is now. So grab a cocktail and let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shake Up. We have a very special guest in this week. Her name is Dimity Stoyle, aka just Dimity, or at Shimmy Disco, the disco diva.
Shimmy Disco.
Shimmy Disco. Dimity, you are you do multiple things. You're a surfer, professional surfer, you're a commentator, and you're a DJ.
Yeah,
you got a whole range of things in your bag of
tricks.
There's
a lot on. There's a lot on at the moment, and I don't know if I planned any of them, except for surfing. That was always planned.
You started surfing obviously pretty young. You live here on the Gold Coast.
Yes.
Grew up on the sunny coast.
Yep.
When did you make the transition from sunny coast to Gold Coast?
Well, I grew up on the Sunshine Coast, and I started surfing probably like 4 or 5 years old. Was obsessed, and then started doing contests around maybe 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
And we found out that comp scene was like a lot of the comps were down here on the Gold Coast.
Gold Coast based. Hey.
Yeah, my family was super supportive. They loved doing little road trips down to the Gold Coast or down to Byron and have weekends down. So I feel like I was down the Gold Coast nearly every weekend for a little Grom contest.
It's the mecca. I feel like it's a mecca of there's Bells Beach and all those other places.
Yeah.
But Coolangatta is the mecca of professional surfing, if you will, for Australia.
Definitely is.
So what do you do for work? What do you it sounds to me like you've got three streams of income. What do you mainly do? Like, what's your typical what's the routine here? Like, you DJing when you get called up, or you DJing every week, or? Yeah,
so I love my lifestyle at the moment. It's Monday to Friday is just surfing and doing a bit of music, like work, get ready for DJing on the weekend. So At the moment I'm working every weekend.
Yep.
I do like a resident set at the Burleigh Pavilion and Commune as well. So that's my regular every week job.
Yep.
And then also just on top of that is just private events, like private parties and just bookings that I get.
I see on your Instagram you do some pretty sick private parties.
Yeah, those ones are so fun because you can just kind of you just get to sort of play anything. You're not set to one genre. You kind of you can do like a warehouse rave, or you can do like a disco party, or like a 90s, just full mix it up, which is nice because it only the people in that room get to see that set. So you can kind of just go wild and do whatever.
Are very, for those that don't DJ, venues are very specific on what style of music you will play and how and when. And
I think we're lucky at Burleigh Pavilion. We've kind of brought it to a place where we can play like really nice quality music that all the DJs in there we love playing, and I think that the people who come to the Burleigh Pavilion have learned to just love that, and it's like we just want them to walk in and get taken to a different place.
Feel the vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're on the water at Burleigh watching perfect waves, and it's just probably the best location on the Gold Coast.
Sitting there drinking a cocktail,
you want to be listening to
time.
like gorgeous tunes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the commentating part of your life, that's a when an event's on.
Yeah, that's very fresh, very fresh. I got contacted I've been away for 2 months on the road doing them. So it was probably a month before they started. I got called up from WSL and they just asked, hey, would I be interested in commentating? And I was like, I've never done that before.
We're DJing parties and stuff for them though.
Yeah, they were booking me for parties the last few years. So like I did a few, they flew me over to the wave pool contest and I DJ'd there. And then
so sick. That's the wave pool. Is Kelly Slater's wave pool. Where is it? It's like in the middle of the desert or something.
Yeah, it's in Lemoore, which is, I think it's like 3 or 4 hours away from
no water around
LA.
there.
It's just so random. It's like full farmland and there's nothing there. It's just middle of nowhere, and there's just a perfect wave pool. It's
so cool.
It's crazy.
You obviously got to surf while you were there, and then DJ. How bloody good! I'm jealous.
That was actually really fun. That was kind of like my first, I feel like, international DJ booking where like you've been booked, we're flying you overseas, you're getting paid, and
did you request first class? Like, what was the rider?
No, I was just like, Qantas, please.
What's your rider?
My
a rider for people that don't know is like when you DJ, you can make absolutely stupid requests on, like, you can have shit brought to you basically. Like, yeah.
I literally am not experienced enough to have a full rider yet, but if there is anything, it's just like ice in my drinks, like no warm drinks.
Yeah. Me and Tom, who's recording this podcast, we obviously used to DJ together. We would make the craziest requests. We'd be like, we only want like blue M&Ms in a bowl and like cheeseburgers, no pickles. Like, Pokemon card one time. We want a Pokemon card. And they're like,
oh my God. What do they say?
It happened. Like, it was obviously a pit. Like, we were doing it to take the piss because this booker would always forget to book our accommodation or something. We'd turn up to the accommodation, they'd be like, you're not staying here. You're like, oh my God. No. And then we just like, he pissed us off a couple of times. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start riding these ridiculous riders and blow up if they don't happen.
That's so good.
But anyway, he made a couple of them happen, which was pretty funny.
That's so good. I love it.
How do you explain to people what you do? Like, when they go, what do you do for work in your meeting social? Like, your parents have known you'd surf for a long period of time, but like, traditional is not traditional in any way, shape or form. And when you kind of explain that to people, you get paid to play music, you get paid to, do you know what I mean?
No, it took me so long to be able to write like surfer on my occupation.
Because as a surfer, you sound you feel like a wanker.
Yeah, like I'm a surfer.
On your passport, on your visa.
For years, like, when I was actually a professional paid surfer, and I was like, filling out my US customs form, writing surfer and the occupation. That took a while to like get used to, and then I don't know, I finally got used to writing that because it was just years where I was just like traveling for surfing, and then I started DJing and people started asking me, what do you do for work? And I was just stuck to surfer because that was easier to explain.
It's easy going through customs as well and saying you're a DJ.
Yeah.
Come with me, sir. Absolutely. Like, that's the whole nightclub
They are
scene.
Brutal in US. They're scary.
Yeah, they're scary. You just want to get through and get done.
The customs are so scary.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool. What we're going to do, we are going to do this speed test. What's your favorite? What do you drink when you walk up to the bar? What's your cocktail?
Margarita.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie. Coconut Margot Robbie.
Coconut Margot Robbie, thank you. We're going to get you to make a cocktail. We do a little speed test. The whole idea is see how fast you can make a Mr. Consistent cocktail. Okay. Plays to how easy it is to make a Mr. Consistent cocktail at home in a venue, and we kind of developed it just to see how fast our team could make cocktails when we were like, anyway, I'm the reigning champ. We just did this before.
You're the reigning champ.
My two business partners wanted redemption and they thought they could beat me, and they've both been bartenders. I've never been a bartender. And they both wanted redemption, and we just redid it, and I just re-beat them. Both.
So you're the reigning champion.
I'm the reigning champion. I'm holding the trophy
Undefeated.
High over my head like you wouldn't believe. I actually shaved like 2 seconds off my time, just so everyone knows. What the time to beat is 20.49 to get in the top 3.
Oh,
22.
Shit. Okay. That's fast.
It's pretty fast.
The closest someone's gotten other than the boys is Kat, and she's gone 29.76, which is good.
29.76.
Seconds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully not minutes.
Hopefully not minutes. All right, let's get set up and let's get you doing this speed test.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so I'm going to walk you through it. All right, this is the Mr. Consistent speed test. 75 mils of mix, 45 mils of tequila. We're making a margarita today. 5 shakes. Put the ice in, 5 shakes. Strain it out into your glass. Put the fruit on top. However you get there, you need to get there as fast as you can. Okay. I'm going to walk you through it as we do it. We're going to go on 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
On go.
Okay.
You go.
All right.
You ready?
Ready.
How you feeling?
Ready.
You ready? All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Here we go. Ice in. Oh, she's going ice first. 75 mils all the way to top. Feel fast. Tip the bottle upside down. There you go. Tip. Go. Now tequila.
Okay.
All the way. Second line down. Just tip the shit. Tip it in. There you go. It's going everywhere. There you go.
More tequila.
Go. Shake. Put it on. Shake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Pop it off. Strain it out. Put the strainer on. Grab your fruit while you're straining out. Grab your fruit now. Here we go. Strain out. 28.72.
Woohoo!
Oh, yeah, it's good.
Is it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, yes. Woo!
28.72.
I reckon it was harder having you yelling in my ear.
It's the pressure, eh?
It's the pressure. I put the pressure on.
But that's good. That means you're the fastest guest so far.
You are the fastest.
yes.
See, pressure makes diamonds, baby. Here we are.
Professional surfer.
28.72. Thank you very
deal with
much for
pressure.
coming. Under pressure.
Day of the
Cheers.
finals.
Cheers. Top. Yeah,
Not bad.
in fourth place.
Good.
Hey, that you made that. You made
First go as well, really.
you made that in 28 seconds.
Yoo-hoo.
And
How good's that?
How quick can you drink it?
And it's delicious.
All right,
Don't threaten me with a good time.
We're going to get rid of this and we'll come back. 28.72. You've gone into fourth place. How's it feel?
Over the moon.
So one of these post-heat
Very
interviews
proud.
right here. How you feeling? You're in fourth.
Yeah, I just want to say the pressure was building and I was pretty nervous and
Credit to the boys.
just took it one shake at a time.
Yeah, one shake at a time. Took it one shake at a time. How good. All those. Yeah. What going on surfing like? For surfing for me, for somebody who's done it for so long, I competed probably around when you started competing. But to me, it's now a relaxation thing. Like it's all about bit of ice there, mate. It's all about relaxation for me. That's like no phone, no watch, no nothing, no time limit. No, like how do you balance that? Is it something like that for you, or what is it for you?
Competing is it's just I don't know. I'm just
Adrenaline. Like the rush?
It's definitely an addiction. It's like you want to compete to be, I don't know, just to kind of have your moment to. And these days, it's almost like that moment when you're in a heat and you got like 30 minutes in the water with only 2 or 4 of you out is almost like a blessing because everywhere's so crowded these days.
Yeah.
But initially it was just I was just obsessed with competing and doing it for fun. I find that fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people don't like when you talk to people about surfing, like people just don't get it. They're like, why the fuck do you go to the beach? Like the sand shit. Like what is it? I find it very hard to explain to people what the obsession is. Yeah. Or what it like, I don't know. Other people have like DJing is a little bit the same sort of thing. It becomes an obsession and you just love doing it. And there's like the thrill. I don't know. People go do bowls. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Some people go do skydiving.
Everyone loves that one thing. I think the ocean's like pretty hard to beat, really. Like even if you're not surfing, just swimming in the ocean's like the best thing in the world.
It's just like it's nothing.
Yeah,
better.
it's fresh.
What about scary moments in the ocean? Like, because I've had a couple. Have you had any parts where you're like, holy shit, I'm in some trouble here, or like I probably shouldn't be out here? Or
I think like I haven't had many of those. I think the ones that come to my mind straight away is like Cloudbreak in Fiji.
Yep. Is
probably the scariest wave that I've ever surfed. And I was out in the heat and I just had to surf it. And it's one of those moments
options.
where it's
the world's
like,
watching.
like everyone's watching. You have to go that wave. And it's probably the best way to be put in that position is knowing that you like actually have to go the waves because everyone's watching. Like if I was out there and not competing, I probably would have just watched a lot of big waves and not taken them.
Guarantee I would have been sitting on the shoulder.
Because I had to. Like it definitely puts you in your place, and at the same time, there's so much water safety out there while an event's on that you almost feel like a little bit untouchable. You're like, I can go this big one because everyone's going to help me. Like someone's going to save me if I drown. If
I need to get to hospital, I can. What about like I've never had any sharky moments. Have you had like any of those moments where you're like paddling across TOS or whatever it is, or like shark scary moments?
Yeah, I think in WA.
That's like Mecca for sharks, right?
It's just like there's just big great whites over there. and they're here too, but there just seems to be more of them down over there.
They're like rabbits.
Like I don't know what it is, but also the reef. The reef when you're surfing WA is like really dark, and the water's like crystal clear. The Indian Ocean is like so incredible. It's like pristine clear water, white sand, but these dark reefs that you surf over, and you literally can't see. So you could just, I don't know, it's just a fear in your head. It's mental more than anything. Yeah. You're like, oh my God, there's a great white underneath me.
Oh man. Oh man. Absolutely not. I'll be walking on water like
just
you wouldn't believe.
Just waiting for its white belly to show, and you're just like, oh, I can't look down.
Is there a point where you've gone, I don't know, the competing thing got too much, or you needed to have a break, and that's when the DJing started to come into play? Or
I think the 2 years I was on the world tour, first year's like really exciting. It's just all fresh and new. And then by the second year I had 17 comps in 1 year. Yep. And like 17 comps, I'm talking like Mexico, Japan, USA,
you're bouncing
France,
all around the
Portugal, like Australia. I can't remember the rest, but there was just
you're literally bouncing around the whole world.
Going to Spain and then back to America. So it was really intense on my body, and it was so hectic that I was pretty fried after that year. Yeah. And I ended up falling off tour that year. And then just going back on the QS. But at the time I was like, oh, this would be good, because I just back to 7 comps a year instead of 17. Yeah. And then I started DJing that year. And I just surfed I had fun doing comps and started DJing and loving that. And then the next few years I just started doing DJing more and more, and like getting better and more gigs and more of that. So the surfing just stayed like as more of the fun. Like I was still doing the QS comps but not giving it 100%.
And probably I don't know, did you have any, you probably didn't have anything else besides surfing as a hobby?
No.
You free surf as a hobby when you're not in comps. What do you do when you got nothing to do? You go surfing.
Yeah.
Then you had DJing to be able to remove your mind from always thinking about surfing.
Yeah, and it was incredible. And I started to really get so that surfing and DJing separate, being separate things, and using them to I could DJ and take my mind off the surfing, and then it would make my surfing more fresh.
Yeah.
And then, so I kind of just had so much fun traveling on the QS, and still doing lots of events overseas, like Mexico and Japan, still going to America and events, but not being on the world tour. And I was loving it. It was probably the best few years ever.
And then you start tying it in, you've started to tie the DJing into the surfing, which is you start traveling, DJing, surfing, it all kind of works in perfect harmony at some stage.
Yeah, and it was good because when I was on the road at a surf comp, we have a few lay days, which is lay days just when the comp's called off to wait for better waves, and you're in the middle of an event, but you've just got a full day to do nothing, and sometimes they can have a couple of days in a row. So
you need your mind to take off. Yeah, you need to remove your mind from thinking about your next heat or whatever it is.
I'd just start working on music. So I'd be in Spain or somewhere random and nothing to do. The waves were crap, and I'd just
sick
most
culture
people go
you.
crazy. But I'd just go check out the place. But some of those spots we've been 2 years in a row, and we've seen every site. So other than that, I just spend time on music and just make tunes and
good.
So it was good. Takes my mind off the surfing, and then I was more fresh.
Dreamy.
Yeah,
that's what you want because when your job's your hobby, it starts to get a bit much, doesn't it? What's it like being a female in the lineup? Because for a long period of time, there's obviously been a stigma with females in sport. And in surfing, it's very relevant.
Yeah.
I know, my sister, you grew up around with my sister. Competing with her.
Yeah.
And it was always she was lucky to have an older brother in the water that would give her waves and give her, let her take things.
Yeah.
Have you got an older brother?
I do, yeah. Yeah, he's 2 years older than me, and we always surfed together. So it was good. I had my dad and my brother in the water. And
bit of backup.
Growing up on the Sunshine Coast was perfect. It was so nice. We just had a little local beach break. We'd surf every morning, and then just surf the points at Noosa, and I feel like it was a very like welcoming vibe. Like I've heard places like North Narrabeen weren't so much like that. You know, there was
bunch of tradies turn up in the arbour.
Yeah, the
and
kids were getting abused, like dropped in on and just, you know, treated like crap. So we were pretty lucky, and up where I grew up, it was pretty friendly out in the water, and everyone was pretty welcoming. But it's definitely hard being a girl in the lineup because you do sort of get a bit targeted if you're catching a lot of waves.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get a lot of waves and you fucking surf good. So you make half the chumps out there feel like douchebags.
It's hard because they get a bee in their bonnet seeing you catch a lot of waves, but at the end of the day, like I'm catching a lot of waves because I'm working hard to catch them. Like I don't stop moving. I'm always paddling, and that's just part of my job. But like, you know, practicing for a contest is like you can't just sit in the lineup and wait.
Yeah,
kind of
wait
just
your turn.
gotta go.
Yeah.
It's all part of the game, really. And like some guys don't get it, and they just blow up. And I'm like, sorry, but I'm just
old Jono's just had a rough day, fucking bricklaying all day.
On the tools.
His Shimmy Disco just discoing all around him. Get that up your brother.
Yeah, but if I'm catching a lot of waves, I'm always on the inside, like doing my thing. You know, I'm not going out the back and just snaking everyone and doing that. But they just see lots of waves as like a pest.
Yeah, and you've been in that transition of like that we talk about. I know in surfing they talk about a lot. There was always like a glass ceiling for female surfers. You know. When you probably started competing, the prize money at the top level wasn't the same, and like equality is such a big thing at the moment. And I believe that prize money should be matched. Athletes, female, male, gender neutral, should have the same opportunity as a whole.
Yeah.
But you've been in that transition of where it wasn't, like on the opposite side where the prize money was less, the opportunity was less. For females, and now it's sort of come up and they've caught up. And correct me if I'm wrong, the CEO of the WSL is a female now?
Yeah, she was last year. She's just left. They've just changed CEOs in the last year.
Yeah.
But she actually brought in equal prize money for men and women on the WSL.
Amazing.
So that came in
Shout out to, I don't even know what her name was.
Sophie.
So shout out to Sophie for bringing equal prize money.
Yeah,
cool.
But that was amazing. I think that was like pretty incredible for not only surfing but women's sport, because I feel like there's only tennis might be the only other sport that I know of that's got equal prize money, and so it's a pretty huge step in just life, really, because I feel like it's not just surfing and sport. I feel like it's jobs, it's everything. Jobs, it's like banks, like, I don't know, corporate world.
Absolutely.
It's not equal. So for surfing to like step out of the box and just say like, bang, equal prize money, men and women are equal.
Lead the way.
It's incredible, and I'm so lucky to be like working for WSL and just surfing being a part of that, because it's definitely
been a part of that movement, eh?
Yeah.
Is there still elements, do you think, in that world that are like we were talking about before off air about like, you know, the guys still get the better waves or like they get the right away? Is that sort of still a thing, or is that doesn't play into it as much anymore?
I think it's definitely gotten better in the last few years. It's changed a lot. Like there was, when I first got on tour, it was like pretty rough. Like the guys would always get the mornings with clean conditions, and then
wind comes up,
the wind would go onshore, and they wouldn't stop the contest. They'd just say, all right, we ran the men's first round, so we're going to run the women's first round as well. There's a really cool movie that just came out this year, was called Girls Can't Surf.
Yep.
And it was based on like the women predominantly in the 80s and what they had to do to like do pro surfing and what they had to put up with. And it was like so mind blowing to watch. And I think any girl surfer or guy surfer should watch it, because it's a pretty cool story. And it just shows how far we've come. And I'm so lucky to just, thanks to them, I'm lucky that I haven't had to put up with too much crap. Like I've had a pretty lucky run, and we're blessed surfing and getting paid to surf, and just having that opportunity is incredible.
I think it's one of the best sports in the world. Where's your spot? Like, where's your favorite place to travel, like to surf?
I think
besides the wave pool.
Yeah, I love Indonesia is probably just like gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the older I get, the more I realize that home has the best waves on earth. And sometimes I'll go on a trip to Indo and not even get as barreled as I get here on the Gold Coast. So we're so lucky here. But I think just traveling to Indo or Hawaii, like something about the islands and just like the raw power and like reefs, barrels, like Hawaii and Indo for me are like the top two.
Yeah. I love Hawaii purely based on the surf culture.
Yeah, I love
the
I
80s
love the
surf culture that is still really thick and like,
it's crazy. I love it because I'm a girl. I would hate to be a guy surfer. If you're a guy and you go to Hawaii, like it's a really hard time if you're not from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like the locals there are really nuts.
I've never been there when the tour was on or anything like that. It's usually pretty
they're like
outside of tour,
full
it's really
localized.
cool.
They're like, you can't surf here if you're not from here.
Yeah, you get told to go in.
They're really like pretty mean, but being a girl, they're like, oh yeah, Wahine, come surf with us.
Oh man, how
just put on a little smile. And you're like, thanks, boys.
Yeah, I love that place. Culture, oh, it's so good.
I love it.
What's probably been while you're on tour? What's been like the most memorable experience? Like, is it? I feel like for guys, like when Kelly Slater knows your name or he walks up to you or something like that. Is there an equivalent of that's happened to you where you're like, holy shit, this person just spoke to me or this person just gave me advice or like pinch me moment on tour?
I think Kelly called me the most underrated surfer on tour my first year on tour. So I guess that's pretty cool.
Plop that one up.
So is that a compliment?
I think so.
Yeah. No, I think like first year on tour was crazy. I like can't even explain how cool that was. It was like I had my first event at Snapper and it was just like, I don't know, I'd surfed there my whole, growing up my whole life. I'd surfed Snapper and
watched the comp every year.
I'd been a trialist. I think I won the trials one year and I got in as a wild card.
Yep.
And then I surfed my first year and I like won my first heat and there was just like straight to the beach interview. And the World Tour is like such a big global stage that it was crazy. Like you step out of the water from your heat and there's like kids coming up to get your autograph and there's a cameraman there with like
some security, couple of bouncers.
Security. There's like 2 security guards that like run with you and then they take you straight up and you do your like post-heat interview and then so it's just like being on a stage where everyone's kind of looking at you is just wild. And that first year I actually qualified the same year as my friend Nikki and Laura Enever was on tour, Steph Gilmore, we're like all best friends. So I traveled with like Laura and Nikki and Steph and it was like just so fun. Every place we went to we had little like trips to explore the place and we had so much fun.
Is it hard to not like wind up when you're around your friends and you're in a new city and you just like you hype and you're like, fuck, should we go for a drink? Should we go for dinner? Like hype it up and just be like, holy shit. Like
we totally did that. I think like I had like the
party
the
pre, during and post event.
The best influence on tour was Steph. She was just a leisure lady. Like she just she and she traveled with her sister Whitney a lot. And I don't know, we were all just about surfing, doing the comp and like doing good in the contest and then just going and like exploring and drinking sangria and
making
like,
the most of it.
If you're in Portugal or France or something, just have a good time. So we definitely like, I think the 2 years that I was on the world tour was like probably the best 2 years of my life so far. Yeah.
It's a little bit more isolated now, I imagine,
it's coming around. Like it's come back around again now. I think like there was a few years, the last few years, maybe the last 2 or 3 years, it got pretty serious. There was like, everyone kind of
stop
focusing
drinking,
and like and there was so much money going around that like the best would just travel with their crew,
physiotherapist, trainer,
their filmer,
their filmer,
their everything,
their cook,
their chef, and they would literally just stick to their own little groups, and but I think this year was really cool because it was back to like grassroots surfing.
Yeah.
I just went on tour for the first 4 events in Australia, and the guys were all traveling together and we were all staying at the exact same place, and no one could bring their support crew from overseas because
bloody expensive. You got to pay for COVID route, or even paying for like COVID quarantines and all those kind of things. So you actually had to stay with your mates.
So like you was just hanging with like Gabby Medina and Felipe and Italo, and those guys are just standing on the bus with everyone else, like
just deal with
going
the boys.
to the comp.
Cook your own food.
Back to economy, boys. I'm in the business class.
Very good. How's the transition from competing to commentating? Like, is it like you obviously dropped off tour and then all of a sudden they've come back, or like you've obviously started making a fair bit of noise in the DJ world and the party world, and they're like, oh, this person has a personality. We sort of feel like she'll fit into our business. Like WSL have obviously made that decision and think that you are a good fit for their business.
Yeah.
Was it like pretty surreal when like, was there talk about it, or it just was like way out of left field? They were like, hey, what do you think about doing this?
I think just like obviously DJing kind of took off here on the Gold Coast because there's just so many good spots to like
play
fun.
Music,
People just want to have like fun from sunset, and then they're not like crazy late night clubs where doing the 3 a.m. set. You're doing more like early sunset hour, people just drinking and
the vibe control,
sunset dancing. Like they just want to have fun because look where we are. We're in the most incredible place. So I think I just had a lot of good gigs that were just a lot of fun, and I think Instagram helped a lot. I was like just posting videos a lot, and I think people just saw and were like,
friends. You're still friends with all the girls that surf with. They're all wearing your merch and shit. Like
they love
pumping the tires
the
up.
Shimmy
How
Disco,
good,
they if they win a comp or something, they're like, you're playing.
Yeah,
like no one else is DJing. We got to get Shimmy Disco, and it's so fun because they're still doing that now. Like in Narrabeen, Caroline won the contest, and I think they got some other DJs in to DJ for her winning party.
Yeah.
And I was just partying with everyone, and then the owner of the bar came up to me and was like, can you please DJ? And I was like, oh, I'm kind of like, I'm hanging out with my friends tonight. I'm having a few drinks. I'm chilling. And he's like, please, I want to get the girls dancing. And then I was like, okay. So we went, I went up and DJ'd with Laura's boyfriend. Yeah. And it like went off. We seriously got everyone like crowd surfing. And
nothing feels better than getting another DJ kicked off and then
so
taking over the room and making people dance.
It's so funny because I like it. If I was playing what that other DJ was playing, I'm sure people would have loved it.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. It's like he wasn't
vibe, mate. It's about the person
doing
up there
a
standing.
bad job, but they just didn't know him. It was a weird situation.
He wasn't connecting.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't connecting.
No one knew who he was.
no one knew who he was. He's got to connect. Yeah. Do you want to compete again, or are you done?
Yeah, no, I actually do. I think it was weird. I was gonna do before COVID hit, I was actually like planning a little comeback year on the QS.
Yeah.
Had taken half the year off the year before and only did the first few events of the QS.
Yeah.
And then stopped just because I was just needed a break and was doing lots of DJing and stuff. And then that year I was
also cost a fortune, right?
Yeah,
to do it.
Yeah. So I just kind of like chilled at home, and then was like, all right, I'm going to just start training and focus on next year.
Yeah.
And then I started training and surfing a lot, and then I did the first 2 contests of the year, and then I was about to fly to New Zealand for the first big one, and it got cancelled. It was like COVID had hit, and
it's all over.
I was literally about to go to the Gold Coast airport, and that day they were like, borders
are closed.
Yeah, the borders are closing. So cancelled that, and then we just stayed at home and just surfed every day at home. So I want to compete. After
when it allows you to.
Yeah, like after.
How are they? I don't know this, but how do you? Are the QS is still running, like in the countries?
So we at the moment we've got regional QSs.
Yep.
In Australia. So.
Then how the bloody hell do you qualify?
Yeah, well, so you got to qualify now. So in Australia, you got to do the QS.
Yeah.
And then that will qualify you into the Challenger Series, which is like Challenger Series is the events that you you need to do to qualify onto the world tour.
Yeah, right.
And there's like 4 of them this year.
And this is all, if you don't have sponsors, self-funded, right? Like there's no help from WSL gives you sweet FL. Like you have to pay for entry fees.
Yeah, you got to pay.
You got to pay for flights. You got to pay for accommodation.
Yep.
Man,
there's prize money, but like you got to pretty much.
You got to win it to come break even.
The money's good if you win, but like you got to make finals, like probably quarterfinals or better to pay for your trip. Yeah, so
big commitment.
The goals are there.
Holy.
Quarterfinals or better.
Otherwise we're going backwards, Mum and Dad.
Yeah.
Can I grab a loan? I won't be doing it anytime soon. All right, we're going to have a quick break. We'll come back and we'll get into some Shimmy Disco talk.
Cool.
This week's episode is sponsored by you guys. Without your ongoing loyalty and support with the Mr. Consistent community, we wouldn't be able to run this podcast. So a big shout out and a thanks to you guys. Now back to the episode.
Shimmy Disco. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all. Where's the name Shimmy Disco come from? Obviously,
So my friends used to nickname me Shimmy.
Yeah.
Before I started DJing. So that was my nickname.
From Dimmy? Shimmy?
Yeah, like Dimmy, Shimmy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just all started flowing.
Yeah, and then when I started DJing, they were like, my friends were said, "Oh, what are you going to call yourself?" And I was like, "Oh, probably just like Dimity." You know, DJ Dimity. And then they were like, "What about Shimmy?"
Disco.
And then I was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Oh, maybe Shimmy Disco." And the disco part means like the club, not the genre.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like Shimmy Disco, disco being like
I love it when you like whenever we're talking, we're like, let's go disco. It's like let's go party.
Exactly. Yeah.
What made it, besides like having something to do besides surfing, what was like the main interest in actually getting into it?
My brother. Yeah, so my brother used to DJ at all the clubs when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And so he had like big club decks at home. He used to take them to his gigs and he used to play. He played for a few years and then I wanted to learn. So I was like, "Can you teach me how to DJ?" And he was like, yeah. And he's pretty impatient. So he was like,
shout out to the bro.
I was like, "How do you do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, just figure it out."
Yeah.
So I used to just lock myself in his room with the decks and just figure it out myself. And he taught me all the basics. And then from then it was just like, I was obsessed. But I think before the decks and the DJ set, I ever touched those. Like I was always the one at the party who was like, when we were in high school, I was like, I'm putting my phone on. I got the playlist.
Sick.
So I always had that. I made a monthly playlist when I was in high school.
Do you remember your first gig? Like, because I remember like your first club gig or like
I remember my first proper gig was with my brother, and him and I played like a Boxing Day party on the Sunshine Coast, and like it went off. It was so good. I played back to back with my brother and it was pumping. And then, the boys from Old Soul, which was the club across the road from the bar that we played at, they were like, "Oh, we need more DJs. Do you want to come play with us?" And then Tim Sullivan, he was like booking all of us at the time, and he kind of like brought me in there and gave me a job and taught me everything. And I played with guys there and got to learn so much good stuff. And we got to play. They had turntables in there and CDJs, and it was a sick club.
What kind of joint you play? Like I've listened to your mixtapes like very often, and I still listen to some of your SoundCloud mixes with
cool,
the old school disco sort of stuff. What kind of stuff do you play now? Has it changed since you stared? Like
it definitely has. Like I used to play a lot of disco and like new disco edits and stuff when I first started DJing, and just like a lot of party tunes.
Yeah.
But
love me a cheesy party tune.
Yeah.
Mama number 5, baby.
You guys turn the place off. Like, go off. Seriously, like Tom and Jerry are on fire. If they're playing at a party, you're going. Where'd they go?
We're old now.
Yeah, we're so.
Hey, there's no age limit on DJs. Have you seen the best DJs in the world are like 60 years old?
Yeah.
Like, always like listen to like a sick mixtape or whatever, or we'll go to a gig and we're like, oh fuck. And we always like afterwards we're like,
we got asked to DJ party like 2 weeks ago. No, it's probably a month ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh man, I'm not keen. Like I just want to turn up and have a bit of fun and we got there and the DJs were okay. And then I said to him, like, on the Monday, I was like, man, we would have turned that joint upside down. Like, I was like, we would have absolutely tore the roof off that joint. I was like, I wish I said yes.
Yeah.
So maybe next time somebody asks, I might say yes, but we'll see.
Do it, please.
What,
We
so what are
need
you
Tom
playing?
and Jerry's come back.
Just full cheesy house party. Just turn them.
Yeah.
What do you play now?
Now I like to play, at like, if I'm playing at the Pav, I'll play like exotic disco and then just move into like house music and some deep house. But what I truly love, like what gets me really excited now is just that like heavier house music, like stuff that I can play at Need to Freak. Have you seen those?
Yeah, Need to
parties go
Freak's
down?
like a party here on the Gold Coast, right?
Yeah.
They have I think Little Fritter and Wongo.
Yeah,
like Wongo was around when we were DJing, but like those kind of parties where it's just like everyone's just going for it.
It's just like the genre of what the boys tell you when you get put on is like play whatever you want. There's no limit, and your set time doesn't mean that you have to warm up for anyone. Like your set time is like that's your hour to just kind of blow up, and I love it. It's like it's so heavy, and we just get to play like rave, kind of like house rave party music.
I think a lot of people don't know that is like when you walk into a club or you walk into a festival or something like that, your slot is sometimes overridden by the corporate part of whatever it is
exactly
of that festival or whatever it is, and you're told to warm up and not go too hard and not play certain genres or not play sometimes you're given like songs that you're not allowed to play. Do you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
And you're overridden and you actually can't do what you want. You kind of put in a box and said, hey, you're warming up for this person. Don't go too hard because we want them to go really hard for this person.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just so like limited, whereas Need to Freak has been so cool and the concept is so fun. Like they literally put out a text line, and then if you text you want to come to the party, then you get like the link to buy a ticket and you get told where it is, and they're like sellout parties, and they're just
so cool.
We've had one in like a warehouse. Like
there's one around the corner here.
Yeah.
And there was like a digger in the yard. It was like a
full industrial.
It was an industrial work factory with a big outdoor area, and they just put it in the dome that the guys work in every day.
Yeah, and so they're just like fun and they're unique, different. Like I missed the last one, which was a circus. I was away, but I was meant to play at that one, and that one I was
really
heartbroken.
Cool themed, like they theme everything. Yeah. What's the I guess who's your, like if you're going, your music inspiration probably changes, but who's your biggest, I guess, inspiration to what you do in the music world
right now?
Yeah.
I think like there's so many, but I love the DJs like the Party Boy 69 who headlined the circus Need to Freak. Like I'm a big fan of his music and his style, and I think like Mole Grab and DJ Boring and just all those guys that play sort of like they play music that's still really good. I don't know. Different shit.
It's what they like.
Different.
It feels like organic and it feels natural to what they want to play.
It's not commercial in a way, but like also love what Fisher's doing too, because he's been home and he came and played at a few Need to Freaks as well while he was home and he wasn't allowed to tour, and like seeing the new music that he made was pretty incredible, and he's it almost sounded more ravey than his original stuff, and it was so cool. It's
probably inspiring, like a guy from the Gold Coast can achieve that level of I don't know what the word is, like greatness in that industry.
To headline Coachella is like what the fuck?
Like just a rat bag from Palm Beach.
Seriously, like he's a legend. But yeah, it's so cool watching him and how far he's gone.
Yeah, cool. That that was kind of what I was getting at, is like making people that inspire you are not necessarily the biggest headliner or the biggest whatever it is. It's people that are true to themselves and what they actually like to play.
Exactly. Like the biggest DJs in the world are probably like the ones that people know their names, like Calvin Harris or I don't know, Diplo or something. But they're not my biggest inspirations.
Yeah. I love Diplo.
But yeah, they seem like fun guys. Like Diplo seems hilarious.
Diplo and A-Track.
Cool.
I've said this before, but Diplo and A-Track are the two guys where I'm like, what? A-Track, like obviously technically wise and like way he DJs and the music he plays and he just plays what he wants.
So good.
And then obviously Diplo just because of his personality and the way he runs a stage.
Yeah, and I love Carl Cox. I just can't get
he's
enough.
The best.
Can't get enough of watching him with like his big fingers, like twisting the knobs. Like he's got so much style and groove.
He's got so much swag. Eh? What's that other guy? Jazzy Jeff.
Oh yeah,
I love Jazzy Jeff.
I love Cashmere too.
Oh yeah, he's rad, really rad.
I got to watch him at Surfers Paradise. It was so good.
How good. What do you want to do with your DJing? Like, where are you going with it? You just taking it as it comes?
Yeah, literally just playing whatever comes my way. Like at the moment, my next big thing is the Grass is Greener Festival in October up in Cairns, and I got asked to play at that one. So they've actually got a Need to Freak stage for the festival. So they got one stage for bands, and then another stage for the Need to Freak guys. So it's so cool, and they asked me to play there. So
do you set goals? Like, do you go like, this year I want to DJ? Like we never did it as DJs because we were young, dumb, filled up on margaritas and having a good time. we didn't have a goal set, but it's pretty common across. I know when I walk into a business, I set budgets, I set goals, I set all these things. But when I was DJing, I never did any of that, and I don't know whether it actually happens. Do you set goals for yourself?
I don't set goals with DJing. It's so weird. Like with surfing, I have goals and I have like exactly what I know what I want to do. But with DJing, I've never even thought about it. But it's a hard one because at the moment I'm in this weird place where I'm caught in between like, okay, I think I need to try going back to professional surfing for another couple of years. And then once I've fully hung up the surfing, then start going 100% on the DJing. Yeah. Because I feel like the last couple of years I've been just doing a bit of both. Yeah. And it's just, I'm not really reaching
concentrating on one or the other to actually give it all.
I'm not really reaching my full potential in either.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, because I've missed a few events from surfing. I've been away and missed a bunch of festivals, which like just, helps you get up and up.
Gig after gig. It's just like DJs, and I feel like DJing's a momentum thing.
It is.
Like it is a really like
a flavour thing.
Yeah, and if you flavour of the month and then you flavour of the month and you flavour of the month and you just keep going and going and going. But if you stop, you say no to something.
It's so true.
Then it stops.
It's so true. And so I'm finding that out now with like just doing the commentating. I had this moment where I was like, I should actually go back and surf for the next couple of years. Yeah. And then and then because you've only got a limited time to surf professionally. Yeah. Just with the age.
And the bones get, unless you Kelly Slater, the bones get old, the arthritis comes in.
Yeah, exactly. And DJing, you can DJ.
The legs can't keep up with the brain. The brain can't keep up with the feet.
Exactly. You can DJ old and crusty.
Yeah. You'll still spin tunes.
Exactly.
What's the dream gig for you, do you reckon?
That's really hard. I think like dream gig for DJing is just anything that's really sick and fun. Yeah. Like anything that's really cool. Like, the circus would have been pretty cool. So imagine that on like a 10 times level or 100 times level, like maybe a circus at Coachella.
Yeah. Do you reckon there's a point where...
Or Splendor first. Do
you reckon
Splendor.
There's a point, I've always thought this and I never know, do you reckon there's a point where there's too many people in the crowd for you to really actually connect and make it a vibe? Yes. Where like you've got, say, 500 people that are just going ham sandwich. Yeah. You're never going to get 10,000 people going off the ripper.
It's 100% right. It's like every party that I've played at with on the Gold Coast has been like, okay, there's only been maybe 500 tickets available and they've sold out and every single person wants to be there for that music, and you can tell like the vibe is so good. Everyone's like fully engaged the whole time and just like they love every track that you play because they haven't heard it before. And then you get those massive festivals where they're just there because they bought the ticket. Yeah. And like they might not be there to watch you. They might be there to watch like someone else.
Just there because it was
all their friends are there.
Yeah. Oh well, dream gig. 500 people back at Burleigh, Sending it. Absolutely sending
Seriously.
it. All right. We're going to have a quick break and we'll come back. We're going to play the Shake Up card game, Never Have I Ever.
Okay.
It should be out, but it should be here by the time this podcast comes out. If not, we're a little bit behind. That's all good. Shit happens. But it's Never Have I Ever. I've chosen a bunch of cards here. Hopefully, the way you play is basically choose a card. If you've got a story, you got to tell me about it. If I got a story, I got to tell you. Whoever has the best story wins. If you haven't done it, just put the card down and then choose another one.
Okay.
Hopefully, see how we go.
Okay. Never have I ever applied for a reality TV show.
Have you?
No.
Thank goodness.
Have you?
No. Hell no. Like The
God.
Bachelor or something. Can you imagine?
Oh, actually, I could apply for the block one day.
Yeah.
I love that. Never have I ever been slapped across the face. No, thank God.
Haven't you?
Have you?
No, you're too nice. I've never been slapped across. Yeah. Do I remember?
Never have I ever gone skinny dipping in public. No.
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 There you go. I definitely have.
You have? Where?
It would have been like a party or something. Like there was a period of time where I'd just get your kid off and just jump in a pool and go skinny dipping.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's my.
I have seen it at a party, but no, I haven't done
been a
it.
part of it. All right, here we go.
Never have I ever partied with a celebrity. Yes, I have.
Who?
Unfortunately, it's not Bad Girl Riri.
Oh no!
But I was fist bumping on the dance floor with Thor.
Stop it! Where at?
Yeah. At Sydney at the Crown Casino.
How good?
Yeah, it was fun.
That's
Little
a ripper.
party.
He's a legend.
Yeah,
He's an absolute lord.
big muscles,
Lordish. That's your
big
card.
fist pump.
Oh, he's got big arms. He's got real big arms.
Yeah.
I've got I have partied with a person.
Who?
And I have an NDA.
I think there was an NDA at this party, so I probably should not talk about that.
Do you want to delete it?
I don't know.
up to
Fist
you.
pumping on the dance floor.
You're right.
That's fine.
Anyway.
That's just typical party behaviour.
Yeah, just fist pumping. I got NDAs. But yeah. But you party with I would class, say, like Celeste.
Oh, yeah, Celeste
a
Barber's my neighbour.
Yeah,
she's a legend.
I'd say she's a celebrity.
She is.
And she loves a margie.
She
we've sent her heaps of stuff. She
Her
loves
husband
margies.
Arpie makes the best margies. He puts like a slice of fresh orange in them, and God,
Stop
he just
it.
he's a whiz on
And then
the.
to put, some of the people that your friend, like Steph, I would say is a celebrity to not you, but to other people.
Like I guess she is. She definitely is. Actually, she gets stopped all the time for photos, which I'm like, what's going on here?
Who are you again?
Yeah.
Oh, you're famous.
No, it's crazy because I guess a lot of our friends would be considered celebrities, so we party with them all the time.
How good.
Yeah.
I think there's on tour and stuff, you get to hang out with some cool
Yeah,
people. There's
we
always
do.
some cool people hanging around.
Yeah.
Has the whole COVID thing put a bar on any of your work? Did it slow down the DJing? Obviously, it stopped you actually going back to surfing.
Yeah.
Was it hard? Because you earn money. I don't know about you, but you earn money DJing.
Yeah.
If you can't, there's no clubs open, there's no bars open.
Yeah.
How do you earn cash?
Oh, I had probably 3 months off where I just had no job, no surfing, no DJing. And I was like, I guess everyone was in the same boat. They were just like, oh shit, what do I do now?
What are we doing?
Why have I spent my whole life working on this career that's just ended overnight? But I think everyone was in the same boat. And
What'd you do? Casual job?
well, no, I literally surfed. It was probably the best 3 months ever for us on the Gold Coast because we were lucky we were allowed to surf because it was considered exercise.
Sydney, they put up at Bondi Beach. I had a full 6-foot building fence put up, and I couldn't physically go to the beach.
Serious?
Yeah, I had a I would drive down the beach at Tama there, and there was a spot where you could jump over.
Yeah,
but you'd go to the beach in your wetsuit.
that's wrong.
Yeah, you'd go to the beach in your wetty.
Yeah,
and you would sit there, wait, make sure no cops came around, and you'd grab your surfboard, run down the stairs because the lifeguards were still on duty.
Oh my God.
So the lifeguards are still on duty because people were jumping out, but you couldn't. And if you were on the rocks, you were okay because it was counted the rocks there is not the beach.
Yeah.
and then you would have to jump on, run across the sand, jump on the rocks, and then you could jump out and surf.
Oh, my God.
And then same thing on the way in, but you had to jump the fence to get back in.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like I never got to experience that where surfing has been banned.
The thing was, it wasn't banned. It was the beach that was banned.
Yeah, like that just blows my mind. It's like such a free place.
Yeah, but Bondi was like, they fucked up badly that day.
Yeah,
like when there
I
was
know.
everybody out.
Yeah.
How this whole commentating thing? How do you get the jibber jabber down pat? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
You got obviously dropped in on it,
Yeah.
and like you just picked it up. Like I've listened to. I was saying to you before off air, I was like, it's so refreshing having some new commentators, because for the longest period of time, we've listened to the same shit and listened to them use the same phrases.
Yeah, exactly. I know it's so nice to have
refreshing.
some fresh air on the broadcast, but I think it was cool because when they asked me to do it, I'd never done it before, and I was like, yeah, definitely, I'd love to like come on board and give it a try. And I think the best part was that they didn't train me at all.
Yeah.
They just said, okay, just grab your phone and go get some behind the scenes videos with all the surfers. And then when I was on the headset where they crossed me live mid heat.
Because you do like stuff in the water as well. Like you're out in the back of the jet ski.
I'm on the back of the jet ski, and it was huge, and I was just loving it. Like, it's so exciting, and it was cool that they didn't really tell me what to say, because then it just let me kind of like just say whatever I thought. But I've watched pro surfing so much that I kind of knew what people like, what they normally say, or what, I don't know, just I thought
you explained it really well before. It was like
like
you listen to a song over and over and you learn the lyrics.
Yes.
And then when you got in there, you just it just felt natural.
That's what happened to me.
It's like karaoke.
Like if you love a song and you listen to it over and over again, the lyrics like literally just pop into your brain without even thinking about it. And I think that's what happened to me with the commentary, is that I've just been on tour and just surfed professionally for so long that I just have listened to that over and over again. It just kind of popped into my head, but it was good because I could just say it in my own words, which was fresh for people listening.
And this film you've done.
Yes.
Tell me, by the time this podcast comes out, the film you've just told me you've got a launch date of next Thursday.
Yeah.
So this might be like 2 or 3 weeks after that. Yeah. But what's the film about?
The film's called Surfing.
Yeah.
And it basically explains that.
Yep. It's about surfing.
It's me, Steph Gilmore, Nikki Van Dyke, Tyler Wright, and Macy Callahan. There's 5 of us. Yep. And it was filmed on the Gold Coast during lockdown, well, after lockdown, but during time where there was no travel happening.
Still COVID, yeah.
Nikki came up and moved up to the Gold Coast for a few months, because just before Melbourne got locked down, because she obviously wanted to keep surfing and keep doing her job. So she came up and stayed with me and then with Steph. And then we were literally all just stuck on the Gold Coast together, and we started filming, and the waves were pumping in 2020. Like, it was unbelievable. The waves were just non-stop pumping, and we started filming just for fun. And then once we kind of got a few days where we got some really cool clips, we were just like, oh, let's make a movie. And then we just thought let's just make a good old-fashioned hype surf movie. Like, girls haven't made stuff like this. Like, there's been documentaries and stuff from girls, but when was the last, like, hype girls surf movie where it was just free surfing? And it was
when we grew up, that's what it was. It was just like crazy. Like, they would just release movie up. Like, there's like the Dion Aegis and all these free surfers that would just
Taj Burrow and
make all these cool movies.
Even Parko and Andy Irons.
And now they're all like stab concepts or whatever it is. Like, they're all these really well thought out things. They're not just turning up to a beach filming, hoping we get good clips and then making something of it.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
So we were just surfing together every morning. We had this group text called the Turtles. And because Dan Scott filmed it and he was filming us, and he nicknamed us the Turtles because he would text us at like 6:30 or 7 in the morning, and then we'd probably get back to him at about 9, and we're like, yeah, we're ready to surf now.
We're on our way.
9:30, 10, all right, let's go surf D-Bar or Snapper, or let's go to Stratty. So we were called the Turtles because we were quite slow getting out of bed, getting moving. But I think being professionally surfing, and all 5 of us are pro surfers, so we've been on tour and like so used to that, like waking up for the comp so early and having to do that when we're home it's like no way, I'm not getting up early.
Let all the tradies
Waves
go to
are
work.
going to be pumping all day.
Let all the office workers and the tradies go to work, and then you get it when the wave's going to be good all day. They'll get it all day.
So yeah, we're super proud of the movie. It's like, it's just fun. I think like if you watch it, it should be online by the time this podcast is released.
Cool.
Yeah,
where are you going to launch? What platform?
We're going to launch it on YouTube.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's free. It's yeah, and then I think it just, if you watch it, you'll just hopefully it just makes people excited to go surfing with your friends, because that's what we did, and it's pretty simple really. There's no storyline. It's just like, just go surf and have fun.
How good. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Like
to be
able to make stuff during COVID, like it gives people time to be able to do shit like that, right? Like that's what this business was. Like it gave us time to be able to do things that we haven't been able to do for the longest period of time due to work commitments. Same for you, like DJing or traveling and surfing and all those kind of things. You were able to do something that you probably would have never done.
No, and we talked about it for ages. We were like, let's go on a boat trip and we'll make a movie, but never happened because everyone's schedules are so hectic. Yeah,
you can never link up, hey?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the nightlife and the culture like evolved on the Goldie? Like it's very different. Like we were DJing for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it's very different to where it was to where it is now.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's getting good. Like
I think
really good.
I think it's definitely getting in a really good place. Like it almost feels like it's turning into one of those cities that's like a music city.
Yeah.
You know how you hear about
music, like all that stuff, hey?
Barcelona or like Ibiza or like, you know, they're like music destinations. I feel like Gold Coast is on its way to being like a music destination.
In the early days, like say 10 years ago, you kind of wanted council to do things and we're waiting for people to do things, and it just never happened, and another club would open in Surface and it was the same thing, and then like it would just always be the same trashy shit all the time, and then all of a sudden it feels like the creative people on the Gold Coast or the people that have moved here or come from other places have taken the city back and turned this into like, there was like a warehouse art rave out the back of Miami or Burleigh or somewhere the other day, and they had like a full proper rave, but then 12 people painting while the rave was on, like light show.
That's so cool.
All that kind of stuff, and like the need to freak thing, like the people have taken the city back, like the people that want to do culture things.
100%. I feel like we're so lucky that movement's happening, because like I even feel like with the pavilion, we've kind of created the music that we want people to learn. Like we're trying to educate, and you know, like they don't get a choice. So if they come there, they're going to hear good music, and it's like good quality, interesting music, and they're not allowed to request. And then if they say like, hey, can we listen to some Beyonce or something with lyrics? We're just like, hey, go to the Burleigh Hotel or like somewhere where they play that. Yeah. And they're just like, oh, well, I don't want to go there. So they just and now we've got like a nice little following of people that come for the music.
Yeah, cool.
And it's so nice.
So refreshing.
It's really cool.
ABBA never goes astray. Gimme. I got one last question for you.
Cool.
If you could create a cocktail, what would it be?
Ooh, I have never thought of this. Maybe like it's got to be a margarita, because it's got to have tequila. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Maybe like a strawberry, but not too sweet, but like a little bit sour, sweet, like exciting.
Like a little,
like a zingy strawberry margie. I've never thought about, but I love strawberries.
Strawberry. So. Have you had a strawberry marg before?
No.
Oh man.
Have you?
Yeah.
How was it?
All you need to do, this is what, because we're going to send you home with a little pack here. I'm pretty sure there's margie in it. But just get fresh strawberries.
Yep.
Do you have like a NutriBullet or something? Yep. Or like even just muddle them in there. Mm-hmm. Just muddle them really good. And then you just put the margie mix in there, shake with the ice in there, and then strain it out like you strain it out with a fine strainer, so you don't get chunks of strawberry in it.
Yum.
Strawberries are such a powerful flavour.
Yeah, don't
use frozen strawberries. Has to be fresh.
It has to be fresh. Like the full ripe, delicious sweet ones.
Basically, you mash it till you make like a puree.
Yum.
Shake it in it.
Okay, I'm going to try that.
Bang in strawberry marg. Put a chili rim on there if you want to make it a little bit spicy.
Ooh, there we go.
That's the hot tip.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's been awesome. Like, we've known each other for a long period of time. It's like
since surfing days.
You got such an interesting story. You DJ, you surf, you do commentate, you're doing all these things.
Thank you.
It's really nice to see you like your career come into fruition. I'm looking forward to seeing you get back on tour.
I was going to say it's really nice to see how well you guys have turned this Mr. Consistent into, because it's like it's just really cool to see something from Gold Coast just go so big and it's killing it.
It's
so I'm so happy for you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. But thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks so much for having me.
No worries. Cheers.
Cheers. Woo! Get on the Margot Robbies.
Let's go. That's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, leave a review. Go show the Shake Up some love and stay connected. Don't forget you can watch all of our episodes on YouTube. Also, jump over to our Shake Up Cocktail Gang Facebook page where you can find out who's coming up on the podcast. And if you've got questions for them, I'll ask the bloody questions. You can also use the code SHAKEUP for 10% off on mrconsistent.com.au. Thank you so much for listening. And just remember, shit that's fresh.